Welcome, guys, to Legends of the Yak series, number 2. We're sitting here with Markus. Most of you know Markus, and if you don't know Markus, you don't know kayak fishing. So welcome, Markus.
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So, suppose we could talk for a very long time.
Yeah, we can.
But yeah, we will start. And as I say, we start in the very beginning. And when did you actually really first start kayak fishing?
I first started kayak fishing when I was 16. I saved up some pocket money and I bought a modified surf rescue craft.
How much money did you have?
I think that
400
cost
bucks?
me,
500 bucks?
I think it cost me back then 2,500 rand, eh? But
Yes,
it had a built-in hatch.
Someone saw you coming, right?
Yeah, it was just, I was a fly fisherman and fly fishing on the beach, and always wanted to get offshore. And a mate of ours, old Ryan Bradfield, Danger Boy,
Yeah.
was a mate of mine, and he said, Marcus, you have to try this. You're going to catch a crazy fish if you start kayak fishing. So off I went and I bought a modified rescue craft, and my first launch was at Seabell, and I caught 2 kuda on my first launch.
At Seabell?
At Seabell. And my second launch I caught 1 kuda. And then for the next 6 months I didn't get a fish. So guys, don't take it badly,
isn't
because
that the story of a novice? You'll find an oak,
Yeah.
he gets in the water and he catches 1 fish, and then he goes on this barren spell for
Yeah.
months and months and months.
And don't give up. I mean, the main thing is at the time I didn't know that fish were seasonal and there were times of years to target different species. There's so much knowledge out there nowadays,
Yeah.
with the clubs and guys that are experienced with kayak fishing, and you know not to target kuta in the middle of late winter into spring,
Yeah.
because they're just not around. And I think that had a big factor to not catching fish on the kayak. But
Yeah, I think that's when Brad and I were touching on, like talking about Pandan and Ganjata, those places that a lot of people don't realize is knowing what fish to target, at what time of the year, where you are, is a huge part of the sport.
absolutely, yeah.
You know, you don't just paddle out to Mshloti today and go and
Fish for
target
kuda, yeah.
a kuda. Oh, we
So wrong
wouldn't,
time of
because
year.
we know that. But
Yeah.
there are people who do that because they don't do
100%.
their research. So for those of you who don't know, a rescue craft was a craft that was made in South Africa, a very unique South African product, in fact, for the lifesavers to go and rescue someone. You would paddle out in the rescue craft and you'd grab your patient and you'd lie in front of the rescue craft and you'd paddle them back to the beach. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what it was. And then when obviously went along, people modified them. That's where the first fishing kayaks actually came from. So
yeah.
I probably wouldn't go fishing on one of those right now. In fact,
No.
if we took one of those and we had to paddle to like the deep drop off of Umshloti, it'd probably take us 45 minutes.
100%, yeah. No rudder.
No rudder.
And off you go. It's
Off you
like,
go.
it's,
Rods on the top.
exactly, and it's wet. It's wet.
Nowhere to put your tackle.
But man, it rides a wave nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was it.
And then I think about, and then I started fishing on a Pope's canoe, which was made in
I remember the
Maritzburg.
Popes, the yellow one.
I had one of those, and then I don't know where it came. I think it was one of the Mshloti comps. Brett kind of approached me and got me on board with Stealth. And
Wise decision.
haven't looked back since then. I mean, honestly, and you know, I worked here at Stealth with Brett for a while as well with product development, and I've honestly seen the models progress, and definitely, I mean, what the modern Stealth kayaks are now are just incredible fishing vessels and well suited to what we do, especially here in South Africa. But I mean, it goes anywhere in the world. I mean, now, so
I think the unique designs that we've forced to put on our kayaks.
Yes.
You know, like we have to put our rods inside. It comes from our surf launching. You know,
correct, yeah.
like just little things that we've done because we almost have to, in other words, to take our sport to the next level. And it obviously, yes, it suits certain countries, and you'll see different countries have different modifications for different reasons. You know, some countries like the smaller kayaks. You know, we like the longer kayaks. It just depends. But you know, I mean, everything evolves, everything changes. But I mean, that would make you fishing on a kayak for 21 years.
That's correct. Yeah, 21 years.
So that's longer than some oaks have been born, and they fishing on a kayak.
I know. I'm not necessarily like old, like the old school kayak guys, but
Old like who? Like, give us an example. Who's old?
Rob. But sorry, Rob. But I think I started when the kayak fishing really took off.
Yeah.
You know, from when it evolved to what it is today. So yeah, and also I've been guiding for the last 10 years, kayak fishing too.
Yeah, so I think to touch on there for you, I remember this 2001, okay? 2001, 2002 was when I made the first Superlight.
Wow.
Okay. That Mshloti comp that Clive Hockley and them used to organise used to get 200 anglers.
Wow.
Not many people know that.
I know.
Okay. But there were 200 anglers at that comp. It was the only comp of the year that you could fish on the beach in Mshloti. They still had their clubhouse. It was epic.
Yeah, it was
200 oaks
epic.
all trying to fish Mshloti.
Yeah.
And they were probably the only 200 kayak fishermen in KZN. But
Yeah,
they all
everybody was there.
They all
yeah.
came together.
Yeah.
And obviously things have changed over the years from then. Like you say, we've evolved and we've kept doing different things.
Yeah.
Kept us thinking, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we talk about, you know, fishing as a whole for you, I mean, I've
Sure.
seen it with you. I always used to use the description to people when people would ask questions about you, and they'd say, "What makes Marcus tick when it comes to fishing?" And I'd be like, "Everything." They'd be, "What do you mean, like everything?" I was like, "He just loves fishing. It's just he does."
I do. My
you know?
gran always used to say to me, "I'll catch a goldfish in a bathtub if I had to." So yeah, I've got a bit of an obsession with fish. If it swims, I want to catch it or shoot it with a spear gun or
Yeah.
with a compound bow or whatever. But yeah, no, I've been fascinated with fish, even from keeping marine fish, catching crayfish and lobsters from when I was little. And then yeah, also I think one of the biggest things as an angler on a whole is spearfishing and free diving and just being
Yeah.
able to see fish where they are. I mean, the Pandan comps, I used to, for the first 2 days before the comp, I used to just dive. I
Yeah.
never took a fishing rod. I'd just go and see where everything is and what was happening and
What
and
fish were holding where.
exactly. And then I had a game plan when the comp started.
And
So
9
yeah,
times out of 10 it worked.
it works. Definitely works. It
Yeah.
helps if you know what's down there.
And everyone would ask you, "Nah, it's very quiet down here."
Yeah.
The old story, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, like I've seen you evolve. Like when I say you, how you've evolved in your fishing over the years in terms of, like what started out for you is just a freaking mind craze. I
Yeah.
call it a mind craze. Like if we were sitting, you and I were having a coffee or a Coke or whatever, and we're sitting talking, and someone would walk in and go, "Bro, the snooker wild at Mshloti," like you'd be vibrating at your desk, you know? Like I gotta go.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to go.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean that's a special knack that some people have. I mean, Carl Schlom was like that in his youth as well. Carl was exactly the same. Like that, I would be busy doing something, and I'd say, "Fish jumps out of Mshloti." Carl would drop everything, and he'd go fishing. So
Yeah, but I do think anglers changed over the years. Eh?
Of course,
You know,
you're mature.
I heard this. The evolution of an angler is like the first thing you want to do is catch a fish,
Yeah.
any fish,
Any-
just catch a fish.
Yeah,
Then you want to catch as many fish as you can,
yeah,
and then I guess you go through that Durban re-commercial stage
Yeah.
that everyone's gone through,
I don't know.
and then you want to catch big fish,
Yeah,
and then your final stage, which I don't think you ever get over, is you want to catch the fish.
yeah. There's
Or
that one fish.
That one fish, that one species, or that one destination, and you know, I think that's definitely where I am at this
And
point.
what's your one fish?
Yeah, I'd still like to get a big doggy on a kayak, eh?
Yeah.
I wanted to get a big doggy, I just got one,
I saw that.
so I'm pretty stoked about
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to get one on a kayak. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. It's. I don't know if it's possible. I think you're going to be very, very lucky. I mean, when I say big, I'm talking 50 plus, eh?
50 kilos, not
50
pounds.
kilos, yeah, 50
Yeah.
kilos plus.
Yeah.
I mean, the power of that fish that I've seen now, it's quite something.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bit of luck.
You got to have a bit of luck.
A lot
yeah.
of luck.
And a lot of line.
Lot.
And a lot of line.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
So-
suppose no one ever believed that we would get those big GTs out of Pandan. With the structure that Pandan has and how those kings...
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, they fight so dirty there in those pinnacles. And I mean, even as much as Andre putting up that $5,000, no
Back
one would
then.
ever get one over 25. And the one that you got was?
44.
44. 44 kilo GT. Well, we call it Noblest Kingfish.
And yeah, just to clear it up, I mean, that fish I did kill it.
Yeah. But I mean,
but I didn't know any better back then.
I was going to say that we can go this release, but we've evolved over the years from that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So our first competitions, we kept and caught and kept everything, even
We
in those
did.
even those species comps.
We did, yeah.
Then we introduced the catch and release. Okay. $5,000 then, when you caught that fish, was a lot of
Yeah,
money.
it was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
So I don't think that anybody would have gone, you know, the resort owners putting up a reward. I want to, no one can do it, you know, we'll show you. And it's also, you remember, it wasn't, we didn't just pitch up and catch it.
No.
I think it was like the third year of trying.
Yeah. And we hooked them.
Yeah.
We just didn't land them.
And I mean, I've got towed around that place,
Yeah,
waving
many
good
times.
morning to everyone, and then you get parted off again, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, so I mean, that's...
And again, I saw those GTs before the comp diving, those big fish. You know, I knew where they were holding. Yeah. But things have changed. I mean, you know, nowadays, also back then there wasn't things like fish weight calculator where you could get a fork length, measure fish and release it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we introduced the stickers, and then we got more points for release, and like we evolved in trying to encourage the guys to release. I mean, even if you look at KZN now, I think the kayak fishing fraternity is probably the only fraternity that puts a lot of pressure on catch release of a garrick, for example.
Exactly.
You know, everyone else will catch it and keep it or whatever. Like, we really try and encourage it so much so if you do it in the club, likes will kick you off the point score because you kept one, you know, like, which is fair enough. We're all trying to do what we can.
Absolutely. But you see, this is also quite intimidating for a new angler because it's not illegal to keep a garrick.
No, 100%.
And if you want to keep one to eat one, you know, I agree and I disagree. But yes, the main thing is the awareness that especially the kayak fraternity is over catch and release, and the sensitive species is phenomenal. It's awesome.
Yeah. So your biggest fish on the kayak that you think is the biggest. Okay, you can get, like you say, you've caught marlin, you've caught sailfish.
Yeah.
In your eyes, your biggest achievement or biggest catch on the kayak that you're proudest of?
I've caught some pretty big sailies as well, but you never really know because you've always released them. But I can comfortably say like 50, 60 kilo sailies, no problem. And not one, I've caught a few. Marlin, again, it's crazy. I caught a big one in Westbrook. I never got a photo. I was literally holding the bull on this side of the kayak, and Craig was on that side of the kayak, Craig Stubbs. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've shot a marlin of 164. I'd say this marlin was over 100 kilos for sure. So yeah, but then the two most notable fish that I've caught. I mean, one was that GT in Pandana, 44 kilos, and then I was on a trip in Mozambique, in Yombane area, with guiding some South African guests, and I had my good mate, the kayak clown Brian Jacobs, with me as well, helping me out on the trip. And literally, the one afternoon coming in, pretty shallow, throwing popper, I got a great barracuda of 37 kilos.
A monster barracuda.
Monster great barracuda.
So for Americans, they call that
no, it's a
trash fish, they call it.
Oh, in Fiji too, don't worry.
I mean, you just, but
like
look,
them.
this is a prop. I mean, that's a proper great. I mean, that's.
So yeah, I caught
37 kilos would be close to 100 pounds. No, what, 74, 2.2, so 90 pounds. 90 pounds greater barracuda.
I looked, I mean, it's hard to see the records now.
That might have been the one that ate Nemo's mom.
Correct, that's the same one, yeah. But I mean, I looked for the IGFA all tackle world record, and I think it's around 39 kilos. So it's not far off the all tackle world record.
Yeah.
And then the, social media was just kind of kicking up back then, and Instagram was a new thing, and somehow Voyages de Pêche, which is a French travel fishing magazine,
they got hold of the photo.
They got hold of the photo, and they said, "Do you mind if we put it on the cover of our magazine? And can they give me some money for the cover shot?" And I said to them, "No, don't worry about it. I was also just trying to get Seafaries, my guiding company, off the ground and get on." And I said, "Just do a little article in the front cover of who I am and what I'm about and my contact details." And from that, barracuda probably gave me some of the best exposure I've had. I got people like Cyril Shirke from Chasing Monster Fish. He's been to fish in Africa with me twice now.
And this has got a show on Discovery, right?
It's Discovery Channel, yeah.
And you've recently done one, and it's coming up again soon.
Yes, there is another one, and there's going to be a nice kayak section there.
There we go.
Don't miss out. It's going to be.
That's good.
No spoiler alerts here, but it's going to be awesome. And then also I did a production with Gordon Ramsay. It wasn't necessarily fishing wise, but it was that original exposure which just kind of...
when you ate your mate's Clive curry, wasn't it?
Yeah, I ate my mate's curry, yeah. So not really fishing orientated, but more Durban lifestyle and exposure kind of thing. And now from social media and the exposure, I'm working at quite an exclusive private island in Fiji, which is literally on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Not doing so much kayak fishing at the moment. I've got some big sport fishes.
Slightly bigger than a kayak. A little bit more deck space.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need
Comes
to
with a chef.
Yeah, and a deckhand, and a captain, and a marine engineer.
Oh, there we go.
So yeah, no, just chasing fish on the other side of the world at the moment, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Cool. I mean, one of the things we wanted to ask is, when you fish on a kayak, okay, your favorite fish to target?
Again, it's actually a no-brainer for me. It's the wahoo.
I knew you were going to say that.
Just because it's the amount of physical effort and degree of difficulty of catching that fish.
Yeah.
And it annoys me because
and nothing ever guarantees you
nothing ever, and then you get guys who just catch them by fluke.
Well, just the other day a guy caught one on a snook fillet, didn't he?
100%. And I've caught him on a snook fillet.
Yeah.
So
I think you've doubled up on Halcos too.
I have doubled up on Halcos and a Strike Pro.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I just, because it's to catch them consistently.
Yes.
Should I say that? Like
to target them and catch them.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's a big fish. It's super strong. I've never heard a real scream like that.
Yeah.
Changes direction, splashes.
Yeah. You see that thing come down the wave past you. It's
all
lit up.
And it's a beautiful fish. So yeah, definitely. But then again, every fish has its. That's what's so beautiful about Durban. It's seasonal.
Yeah.
So the minute you're catching this fish, you almost start looking for the next fish to target in the next season that's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, we go through waves. I mean, summer we've got the Dorado and the Salies and that you chase them up in Zululand, up at Vidal, and then straight out after November, you get the snook and the kudas come. And then April, May, June, you get the wahoo and the big yellowfin tuna and the big kuda.
Tuna, what's that?
Tuna, yeah. It's amazing. Like in the last couple of years, same with the wahoo, it's also just been missing.
Very quiet, yeah.
Very quiet in the last couple of years. And then into winter, when most of the guys stop fishing, we catch the doggers and the garrick. And I mean, yeah, I love catching dogger too, I promise.
But you released them all, eh?
I have been actually.
Yeah, that's good.
I have been,
that's
yeah.
Fine. Yeah, I
been
like
tagging a few, for sure.
Tag and release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your favorite kayak fishing destination?
Yeah, that's quite easy, eh? Pandan.
Oh, again.
But and you know what? I fished quite extensively Transkei, pretty much KZN, top to bottom, northern Zululand, and then most of we call it southern Mozambique.
I mean, we've been on a lot of trips to southern Mozambique too.
You know, it's still 850 k's from Durban, but if you look at the length of the Mozambican coastline, it's still very far south.
Yeah.
It's a different spot. It's just you never know what you're gonna catch.
And it's hard to explain.
And it's close. It's easy, and there's everything there. I mean, it's just. But you also need to understand how that place works to be able to fish it well. Hey.
Yeah. We have been through that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd say that definitely. I've got a very, very soft spot for Vidal too.
Okay.
I mean,
I know you've always loved Vidal.
Oh, those Dorado and then Salies. You talk about the sailfish curse. Man, I've caught so many of those things at that place. They're like a magnet to me.
They just follow you.
And it's a great fish to catch on a kayak.
Yeah,
it's big, it jumps, it's beautiful.
It's not so fun when it tows you in the current far, far away.
Well, then you got to decide if you really want it or not.
Yeah.
Eh? But
fair enough.
I find with a Salie, if you just bully it, it's actually not that bad. Eh?
And you get to that stage if you've caught it through that you do bully them.
Yeah, you do. You don't care if you come. So you like it jumps, cool. Got
I mean,
it.
the last one I caught there was when I had those guys from Fred from America and Paco from Spain and Joel, and I hooked one, and the wind was howling, the current is screaming, and I just tightened up and pulled that thing. Like, no way you caught that thing that fast.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if I don't, I'm going to be, you know, an hour and a half away from paddling, and I've still got to keep my eye on yokes, you know. So yeah, and it came so fast, and when you pull the hook out, that thing swam away like hadn't even been hooked.
Yeah, the biggest thing I find with the
Salie,
Salie...
I didn't care. If it came off, it came off.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Yeah.
I find the Salie as well, if he goes ballistic when you hook him, he burns himself out quickly.
Oh, okay.
So if he's jumping, just keep him jumping.
Let him jump.
And then once he's on the surface, finish jumping, wind yourself onto him as quick as you can. Grab that pull and don't let go.
Don't
Hold
let go.
it. And then
And don't put them on your lap if you don't.
Yeah, it burns.
Unless you want a sailfish rash.
Yeah, it burns. Believe it or not,
The good old sailfish rash.
It burns. I heard a theory that it's because they eat blue bottles and stuff, but I don't know. That sounds like some sort of a fishy
I think
story.
it's just skin's just sandpaper, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they just Yeah, so Vidal. I mean, as good as Vidal is, it's also a tricky place to fish.
It is. It is.
You got to understand what that current can do on the wrong day.
Yeah.
Um,
I tell a lot of people, clients and people that go to Vidal, it's not a difficult place to fish. It's technical again.
Yes.
Same as Pandan. I guess that's probably what appeals to me as a kayak angler is the technical aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our last year I fished there, and now it's all coming back and saying, "Oh, it's quiet, nothing's happening." And I had a really good day's fishing. But it's like you say, you just persist. You know what works, or if you don't know, and you got to work at it. You can't just sit there. You don't just catch a live bait, sit there and a bite and get a bite.
Yeah.
You got to puzzle, change things up, do things, move around.
So don't move too much because the current flies.
Yeah. Well, when I say move around, I'm talking about if you're fishing this spot and there's nothing there, you move over there and you hang there for a while.
Yeah. You fish the depth. You shift in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reef there. There's no structure. It's just like a funnel.
And there's no rules there too.
Yeah.
My biggest dorado was on the peg.
Yeah.
But I think it's 6 meters deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to go to 40 meters to catch a dorado. But anyway, but that's it. So then your dream kayak fishing destination, like if you had a choice to go and fish somewhere, it doesn't matter how. If you've been to so many places, just a spot that you'd like to sit on a kayak and target a fish.
Like I've heard guys like Scotty say, buses to India. I've been to buses to India. I sailed there.
Yeah.
I've been to Madagascar. You will die. The current screams there.
And what about the big white tip, oceanic white tip?
And you're gonna get eaten. I promise. It's a crazy place.
That's like crossing a freeway blindfolded.
No, it's not a good place.
You might make it across, but I don't think so.
It's not a good place, but it's not a good place for a kayak.
Yeah.
So we're talking kayak destinations here.
Yeah.
The place that really kind of is given like a bit of interest is Pumen. There's a reef that's about 22 k's north, but a long way out to sea. It's called Zambia Shoal, and I fished there recently with Mark Delahaye, and it's pretty insane. But then again, there's another subject: is the only way you're going to get there is by putting your kayak on a boat and like mother shipping it there. And then again, I'm a bit of a purist at heart. I kind of, that's the way I
feel like you're cheating a bit.
Yeah, you do, but I get it. But yeah, just Pumen. But I have fished Pumen before. Places like Bazaruto, again, amazing. Like there's some amazing places there.
But far.
It's 60 kilometers.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just, and I think that's what happens once you go north of Inhambane. There's amazing fishing in Mozambique and Tanzania and all those places, but they're just out of reach from a kayak perspective paddling.
Yeah, it's like Deep Zavra. Like
exactly.
I would do anything to go and fish there.
That's another place.
That's what 9 k's from the launch site, straight out to sea.
Absolutely,
and it's 6 k's long, and the current can wind it there.
I mean, we've done that before.
But
9 k's offshore. But
if you get out there and the current is winding, and it's not going to be 9 k's, you're going to be paddling for 50 k's.
No, it's going to be hectic. So
that too, like that mothership trip would be epic, but also feel as great as the fish that you caught on your own when you paddled from the beach.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know. Where the next place? Where I would Mexico, maybe, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, because the fish are close.
Yeah.
Don't have to mothership trip it.
Exactly.
Try, catch a
roosterfish.
There we go, roosterfish.
Yeah, those are definitely the fish that I still, we were talking about the fish, those are also the species that I really want to still get, So.
Yeah. So tell us about the golden kingfish.
I knew this was coming. So there's one species that has always eluded me, and that is a golden kingfish.
But no one rips you off about it.
No
definitely not me.
No.
Or Scott.
I've seen Brett. I've seen Scott. I've seen Brad catch them shot for shot next to me. Even the good doctor.
I was gonna say I was there the day the doctor caught two
right next to me, and I haven't even caught one. So.
Yeah.
But it'll come. It'll come.
No, it's like most fish. Eventually you get that. They get it on that. Sometimes when you're least expecting it to.
Yeah.
And
Another fish that I would really like to catch is a copper stem wrestle for the kayak. Again,
Copper.
mothership. It would have to be on a mothership.
Yeah.
But,
And that'll be like also one of the, you just.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean the guys in East London and PE and that, they do catch them, but they catch coppers.
No, you want a proper one.
I want a copper.
You want a copper.
Yeah.
Like a proper one, eh?
If guys don't know what a copper stem wrestle is, it's an endemic species of snapper dentex that's found in Southern Africa, mostly on the wild coast.
Big teeth.
Big teeth, and it's just a mean predator.
Yeah. It's got like giant molars, am I right?
It looks like a Rottweiler's mouth. I promise you, it's crazy, that thing.
And it just doesn't, like, what does it eat? Generally?
Well, like it mostly eats, you can use live bait, like live mackerel and stuff like that. But the other thing is a big bomb bait. It's like a mixed, like chocker and mackerel and sardine, or even crayfish or all that kind of thing. But a bomb bait or live bait is what the guys catching in the bottom. Yeah.
Cool. So, before we get on some of the funny stories, if you would give your advice to a beginner, like on a kayak, so it's like starting up now, or you've been fishing for a year, we've talked, persevere, that's fine.
Sure.
But your most useful piece of tackle on a kayak?
Your paddle.
A good paddle.
I've gone kayak fishing in the morning. I've forgotten my paddle.
I've gone to Mozambique and left my paddle behind.
So your most useful piece of equipment is your paddle, and then second is your gaff.
No, we won't even go on the gaff story. We'll go on the gaff story. I've got to remember this now. You phoned me, it was Boxing Day. It was Boxing Day, 26th of December. Now, for people who don't know, in South Africa, probably not the right place to go down to the beach, because just everyone's partying and it's just a drunk fest on the beach. And we decided to go to the shoal.
Yeah.
We paddle out to the shoal and we get, on the way out, get to the shark nets and you hook a tuna on a daisy chain.
Yeah.
We fight it for about 10 minutes, comes off, we're like, no, bugger it. We come here, we're going to the shoal. So we left the birds, and we went to the shoal. How many kilometers did we cover?
Oh, I don't know.
I think
it was 25 at least.
I think it was 34 k's on your GPS we covered before we came back inside. It was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like, sun was going down, and the birds were everywhere.
Yeah, and
as we got in, we hooked the first tuna. Am I right?
Yeah.
And you fought it and you landed, and then you said, Charlie, pass me the gaff.
No gaff.
No gaff. With a tuna of about 15 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we tailed that tuna. You grab by the tail and you put it in the hatch. Charlie, pass me the pliers. No pliers. What did we do? We just reloaded. We cut the halcos off.
Yeah, put new ones.
Put new ones on. And when we had to go in the hatch and find the dead fish, the halco, because you know what it's like.
We ran out of lures.
You can't try and take a lure out of a tuna's mouth. I mean, that thing shakes its head. It's going in your hand.
100%.
So yeah, we waited for them to die. That was like, I think 5 or 6 tuna that we caught. With no pliers.
No gaff.
No gaff. No shillelagh. No nothing. And then we got to the beach and there was a gunfight on the beach.
Jeepers, yeah. Remember, we put that kayak with the tunas on our shoulders.
Yeah, and we ran up the hill.
Threw it on the car, jumped in the car.
Up the hill. We didn't even tie it on. I was hanging on the kayak to the petrol station, and then we got to the petrol station. Then we unpacked everything, but we thought we were going to die with a gunfight on the beach. But anyway,
crazy.
That was hectic.
Africa's not always like that, though.
No. That was just the day. I mean, that was the day that it was.
It was a crazy day, yeah.
I mean, it was before the cops came and spread the crowd. So it was like the worst time to hit the beach. Just one of those days where everything's going wrong, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then the time that your late mom had you didn't make very good friends with your mom, I remember. You hung your Walla Walla trace. Your Walla Walla traces in the bathroom window. Is that true?
So my mom had this Persian cat.
Was it like your pride and joy?
It was pride and joy, yeah.
So like, like old people and their cats and their dogs are like everything,
Yeah. So
like a basket with a fluffy toy, like that shit.
So I was still in varsity. So as per normal, you go fishing before varsity.
Yeah.
And lectures, and I came home. It was summertime, so you have lots of time in the mornings.
Yeah.
And a walla trace, if you know what a walla trace is, it's a walla walla or a ribbonfish eel that we use for big kuda. And you have multiple trebles down it, 4 or 5 trebles, all in a line on a wire trace. And I had a shower before I was going to varsity, and I took my traces and rinsed it underneath the shower. I normally just shower with my fishing rods. And
As you do,
and you're rushing to get to varsity, and I hung the traces up in the windowsill. And I was on my way to college, and the next minute all hell broke loose in my house. and my mom's cat climbed
I don't
through.
think you had a cell phone back then, so you didn't know until you got home, am I right?
Yeah, no, I got called back somehow because the cat climbed through the window and got stuck in the wallet trays, and then proceeded to jump out the window and jump on my bed, and then got stuck in my blanket on
In
my
the duvet
bed.
with the
In
trays.
duvet. We just tied the cat up in the duvet and took it to the vet just like that. But Shane, the cat was fine at the end of the day.
Your mom was.
But
Your
my mom
wasn't
was
stoked.
not happy with me. Hey, not happy
You
with
weren't,
me.
you weren't allowed to shower with your fishing rods again.
Yeah, so yeah, I caught the Persian cat with a wallet trace.
Oh my lord. The things we did when we were young, eh?
Yeah.
And advice for a beginner?
Advice for a beginner.
Other than persevere, we said the persevere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is find a buddy that you can learn together with. You know, kayak fishing is not necessarily a team sport, and people do keep to themselves. But find a buddy that you're willing to learn together, and you know you launch together, and it's always nice to help carry the skis and load them on the. You also get that incentive to go fishing because you've got a buddy that you can find to go fishing.
And laugh at when he gets drilled by a wave.
Exactly, and learn together, and that's the biggest thing. The other thing is join clubs. You know, clubs. Some of the guys are not so willing to part with their knowledge.
Oh, no, I think
But you do pick up.
it's changed a lot more now than it was.
Yeah, you do pick up tips if you can see through the nonsense.
You don't get that standard answer. Where'd you catch it?
Yeah,
In the sea. You don't get that answer anymore. Now you get somewhere near there.
Yeah. And I mean, guys become experts of taking photos on the beach to hide where they're catching fish.
But you started that.
Yeah. But
Was that when you catch a fish at Salmon Bay, and you go to Westbrook and you take a photo in the car park?
No, that I live in Westbrook, and there was no water, so I stopped there to wash the kayaks and the rods off, and I took the photo there. But no, I didn't catch a fish there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But
Oh, don't worry. There's lots of oaks who do it just to wind everyone up. So
100%. But then, yeah, and then also, I mean, I guide kayak fishing, and if you're really a novice, especially the guys that are inland that come from Joburg and they got limited time and they don't know what to target when or how, you know what the guys have learned, and this is what my clients have told me, what they've learned in a long weekend fishing with me. You know, you do everything from the knots, the traces, and
Yes.
you know, kayak fishing is a process. It's not just, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And you know, you can fast track the guys 6 months just by a couple of days, you know, on a trip to Mozambique. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a guided trip. You fish a camp, you do one of the events.
Yeah.
You learn a lot like that.
The socials.
100%.
You know,
You learn a lot like
sit
that.
around the fire. Don't hide in your tent or hide in your chalet. Sit with the oaks all day and pick for advice and ask questions. And you know, sometimes the guys will look at you because it's a stupid question, but if you're willing to learn, you'll learn quickly.
You will learn quickly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, social media, YouTube channels.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, we're getting more and more information. We're trying to get information out there, but I mean, 5 years ago it was so limited. So if you didn't make an effort to go and talk to the club, or you literally didn't learn.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think you're right that those trips that you can go on. I mean, I don't even know how many trips you and I have been on,
There are lots of.
and we've had some freaking epic fishing holidays.
We have indeed, yeah.
Like Millie Balang, the first time we arrived at Millie,
That was
me,
amazing.
you and I,
And Jean.
Dazel,
And,
Dazel. and the
tall dude.
the Winkle boys
Oh yeah.
were
yeah.
there already. Am I right?
Yes,
We
correct.
arrived there and it was absolutely bucketing down with rain, but we still went fishing.
Still went fishing.
We couldn't
still
even
caught
see
fish.
we couldn't even see each other on the drop off, but
Yeah.
we were catching fish that day.
Yeah.
And that was when Dazel was scared of the spider in his tent.
Yeah. The pop-up tent.
Pop-up tent.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and in the fishing industry itself, I mean, you've obviously worked in various parts of the fishing industry. It also helps to learn in fishing. I mean, obviously not
Absolutely. Yeah.
everyone can do it, but you know, Brad touches on when you're working in the different industries in the fishing, you get to see what's new, what's coming out, what might work, what
Absolutely.
might not work, and also trying it.
Yeah, and you get, you know, and also like later stage in your fishing, you can never stop learning from the guys that are good.
Yeah.
You know, and you get two types of anglers. You get, I call them bob hopes, the guys that bob around and hope they're going to catch a fish.
Yeah.
And then you get fishermen.
Yeah.
They're thinking, they're always innovating.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Or asking questions,
or asking
understanding
questions.
why it didn't work or what they may have done wrong.
Exactly. And I mean, those are the guys that I kind of like to socially fish with nowadays.
Yeah.
It's the guys that are innovative, and you know, the guys that and fish hard.
Yeah.
You know, fish hard and really give it a go.
I think it may have been, you may have been with us, but I think Brad and I were talking about the exact same thing once on the Mozambique trip. Exactly what you're talking about now. Like, you get guys that will that want to try stuff with you, want to learn, want to evolve, and then you get the guy who'll listen to you, and then you go and do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he goes, but it didn't work. And you almost want to say, like, but we're not trying to make fun of you, but it didn't work because no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it works once off and you're lucky. But if you want to get results and you want to catch more consistently, try the stuff that's working.
Yeah. And
I use the snook trace as an example, and I was chatting to Brad about the snook trace, and he was saying, you know, the original snook trace was terrible. But if we looked at that now, what we fished with in the beginning, like, you wouldn't fish with it.
Yeah.
But then we, like, you know, you guys tried different things when you put fluoro and bent the wire and a short bite wire. Yeah, there's lots
or
of
no
little things.
bite wire. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like that came from understanding
What you're doing.
what you're trying to do.
But then again, you must also learn the basics well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had it, and I mean, even Brad, the one time fishing in Mozambique, I couldn't catch a cuda.
Yeah.
And he just said, pink
Take it.
duster with a 3/4 ounce chin weight on a 5 ounce downrigger.
Yeah.
And you will catch a cuda. And sometimes you just need to go back to the basics, especially then you can get flustered and floundered and you know, and you're like, okay, I'm blanking,
Yeah.
okay, but and then you think then you're using a purple duster because you heard that works, and you're using the new.
And everybody's got their own theory.
Oh man, and there's too many theories.
Yeah.
You know, get to the basics, or find your basic.
Your magic one. I know
what you do.
You say
you know?
pink duster, and I think when I used to fish with Bartha a little bit on the kayak, Brett had that like yellow chartreuse coloured one. That was his go-to. No, but that was his go-to. And he would fish with it, and he'd get a fish, and he had so much confidence that he was not working. He would try that colour. That was his colour.
Yeah.
And it worked for him. And you say go back to the basics. That one milli trip that we all went on was like a stealth adventure, and we were camping there. And I remember for the first 2 days, all I wanted to do was catch a dorado. So I paddled into the deep, and I was pulling around, and I didn't catch anything. I didn't even get a bite. And then we were sitting around the fire that night, and everyone started, you know, like started winding each other up. Like, you can't even catch a fish, you haven't caught one. And I was like, stuffed yolks, you know. I went back to the tent, and I just went back to the basics. I left all my rods behind. Like, I just took one rod and a spinning rod, went to your back to basics, went out there, caught a cuda, 21 and another one of like 19, and I put them down, and I went, now, you know.
There we go.
So yeah, if you understand, like you say, the basics like first, before you evolve, maybe, rather than trying to get too complicated too quickly.
That's it.
And I think that's also what happens is that now that there is more advice, some guys overthink things.
Absolutely.
You know, this chin weight, that
Scott
thing,
Hunter.
this thing, that thing. Scott doesn't overthink. Overanalyze, overplan.
Yeah. But shame, though. Again, like, Scott's very innovative when it comes to fishing, for sure.
The first man with put lunar tubes on his kayak.
Yeah. There we go.
2-litre Coke bottles with a hose pipe fitting clipped onto the back of his kayak. Hey, he got the photo on his book that he wrote.
Yeah, there we go.
We got the sailfish that he caught at Pandan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but it's once again, those are the trips where we all learn from each other. We all remember it, don't we? So so get involved in a trip or a competition or an adventure.
Yeah.
And learn from those guys. Like I think, you know, it's invaluable. You can go to Mozambique with a trip of oaks, and you think $5,000 for 5 days in Mozambique is a lot of money. But that $5,000 will save you money in tackle. It'll save you hours and hours of puzzling and time trying to work out, and you've got a chance of probably catching the most memorable fish on that trip.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And that's what I think guys miss that. You know, we get caught up in, you know, even now the economy is tough and it's tight, and you know, $5,000 really for 4 days in Mozambique.
Yeah, and it's also the you know, just back on that, you know, there's like a it's nice. There's like a culture of being guided now, and that kind of stems from fly fishing. I mean, it doesn't matter how good an angler you are. I mean, I've got some clients, personal clients of mine, who travel the world fishing. Yeah. And you know, you ask them what is the best fishing trip they've ever done, and they say to you, it's going to be the next one. And these guys can fish. They can fish better than I can.
And anywhere.
And anywhere in the world. And
Yeah.
they'll still go to a destination and get a guide.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's because why must you spend 5 days learning the area?
Exactly.
That guy knows the area.
He knows the area, yeah.
You know, it goes back to what we said in the beginning. Know the area you're fishing. Use the person who knows the area.
Exactly.
It's the same as fishing at Westbrook with Pierre. I mean, Pierre's fished Westbrook 3 or 4 times a week, every day of his life for the last 15 years, and
Yeah.
you know, I can go with him, and you'll go. I say like, and nothing's happening. Oh, we'll just go there. We'll do their loop there, and he catches a snook, and I go like, oh, there we go again.
Yeah.
So that's it. Know the area where you're fishing.
For sure.
Any more funny stories you can remember from kayak fishing?
Oof. There's so many, but like at the top of my head, and yeah, I don't know.
So many. There are so many.
Like from things like not tying your kayak on the roof, and
Lead shooter accusing his gilly of stealing his rod and reel that washed up at high tide the next day.
oh man, there's so much. I mean, we've been on kayak fishing trips where like my stomach's sore from laughing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's some clowns out there. Hey.
There are some clowns. Kayak clown?
Yeah, they are. They are.
Captain Hazard when he used to fish on
Oh
a kayak.
my goodness. Yeah.
Oh man, we do.
And then there's mullet.
Mullet. He's just mullet. Your mullet asked me a question. He says to me, "Why don't you eat eggs?" And
don't like them.
Jared, a good friend
don't
Jared,
like
lives in,
New Zealand. Yeah.
and they both want to know why you don't eat eggs.
I honestly just don't like them.
Why? There must be a reason.
I
Like,
don't like the taste of them.
just don't like the taste of an egg. Eh? There's nothing that stands.
There's an interesting fact. I just don't like eggs.
That's it. I just don't like eggs. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic. Eh? Yeah, and then someone else asked a question. He said to me, well, but obviously the guy will never fully understand us. But he says, "How the hell did you find so much time to kayak fish over the years? And your missus always gave you permission."
I'm not married anymore.
Not anymore, but even when you were, or even when you did have a serious girlfriend, I think
No,
if the person that you met didn't understand how you ticked,
Yeah. It was hard, for sure.
yeah, but
Also, it was my
everyday
life and it's my job.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's my career. It's what
Yeah.
I've chosen. It's not. I am a professional fishing guide. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
That's
You know,
what
it's
I
like
do.
I say when I go fishing, guys say, "Well, yes, aren't you at work today?" I said, "I'm product testing."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
product testing. Got to test your
Absolutely.
product. You know, those trips to Mozambique. Yes, you're away from Mozambique trip. Yeah, you know, you got to really test the products in the best conditions. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. If you test the products, you get to understand it.
And then there's also, you know, like when I'm fishing, I'm fishing. It's
Yeah.
not. I'm not messing around.
No.
You know, it's not like what these guys think. Oh, it's a boys' fishing trip. It's like it's fishing.
Yeah. No, we do.
We push it.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, we like you say, you puzzle
yeah.
on those trips.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you try different things
Yeah.
that you've maybe worked for you before, and you want to see how well it will work because you're in the area that you understand. Those fish are there. Will they eat it? Will they? Won't they eat it? You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you've tried back-to-back wire for those big wahoo at Pandan, and then you don't get the bite
Yeah. That's it.
because the wire's too rigid and the bonnie can't swim.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the single wire and the wahoo bites you off again.
Yeah.
You know, like that's trial and error.
Definitely. I mean, it's crazy fishing in Fiji how heavy everyone fishes now.
Yeah.
And it took a while for me to get my head around that now. You know, I started with a Tiago 30 and got smoked. Then went to the 50 and still got smoked.
Yeah.
Then went to the 80 and landed one.
Yeah.
You know, and like an 80 is just, for me, just to get my
winch.
head around it.
It's a winch.
It's like, you know, this is crazy. But that's
Yeah.
what you need to do.
Yeah.
Where it's completely reverse fishing here in South Africa. Nowadays, to have that edge over the next kayak angler, you need to fish like number 6 hooks, number 4 wire,
Yeah.
you know, number 6 power swivels,
Yeah.
lighter fluorocarbon.
And it's that trace that you once showed me for Vidal. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like we call it a scallum trace.
Yeah.
I mean, the wire's so light, the hooks are so small, and the oaks look at it and go, what's you going to catch on that? But it works, you know?
But you've also, then again, you gotta, if you're gonna do that, you gotta rely on your skill as an angler. You can't pull like a gorilla
Yeah.
and think you're gonna land fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I'd rather get 5 bites and lose 1 or 2 fish and land 3 than get
No bites.
2 bites and land 1 fish or no bite.
Yeah.
So fishing lights and scallum is definitely the way. But sometimes, I mean, it just depends on the fish you're targeting. Like certain fish, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
Like you just can't. You can't go and target amberjack with a little 5,000. or you can't go and catch.
But we probably
greater
hooked our
barracuda.
first one on a 5,000.
Yeah, we did.
Bartho's first amberjack at Pandan.
Yeah. I think it was on an 8,000.
I think it was a Stratic.
It was a Stratic 8,000, and he melted the drag washers.
Yeah, he melted the
On
drag
2
wash.
reels,
On
yeah.
2 reels. But I mean, he got the fish.
He got the
some
fish.
freaking quality ones. But yeah, I mean, now
Yeah.
you wouldn't take that reel out there on purpose.
Yeah.
On purpose, if you had a
on
choice.
purpose, on purpose,
You had a
on
choice.
purpose. Yeah.
You know?
No, you can go a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
But then again, also you need to fish light enough that you can fish it all day. You know.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that we haven't touched on. You know, I think you've touched on obviously your guiding and teaching people and spending lots and lots of time giving back to the sport.
Absolutely.
No? Maybe I can touch on this and say at some stages in your fishing career, like over the last 21 years, there's been stages in your career where maybe a lot of people have misunderstood you.
Possibly, yeah.
No, I can say that because I've always, I've always backed you and I've always sort of, because I know you as a person.
Yeah.
Okay, but things that people don't take into account when it comes into fishing. Firstly, if it's an ego sport, and I always say it is. We do it to stroke our own ego, your mate's ego, or whatever. But then, when someone's catching good fish all the time, or someone's catching bigger fish, it becomes a different scenario. Is like
Jealousy,
jealousy, and then also it's like, like it's a bit of a, it does, and it happens. But you've put the time and the hours in the water, you've got the fish, but you've given back a lot. And I don't think a lot of people appreciate how much you've given back. Yeah, you made a business out of it. You charge, but you're giving your knowledge, man. You spent how much money prior to the first person that you guided on fishing tackle learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you didn't just all of a sudden decide to say, hey, I fished for a week, now I'm going to guide. Okay, you had 15 years of knowledge, decided that was what you wanted to do, and you did it. And like I say, you teach a lot of people, you take them on trips, you show them how to fish, you show them what to catch, like you say, you teach them the knots.
Absolutely.
And I think that's undervalued in terms of maybe what some people understand about you, because it's easy just to see you catching fish. It is. Everyone can see certain things or plum pick, maybe the guys from America or Australia will always see the great fish you catch, but there's a lot of time involved, and a lot of practice. Anyone can catch those fish, but once again, you've got to lean on the knowledge, not just expect it's going to fall in your lap.
But then again, I think I've matured a bit since. Yes, I was wild when I was younger.
Yeah, what was your standard comment in the got you in trouble a few times was like, where'd you catch? In the sea.
In the sea, yeah.
In the sea, what didn't go down well with a few people.
I was very good at giving one word answers. If you ask stupid questions, you got stupid answers.
But to a degree, a fisherman always protects his territory.
Yeah, 100%. And it was my business.
And if anybody who tells you out there that he doesn't do that, he's lying.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No, I'm telling you, we all protect our. So say maybe someone says that they're like, oh, he doesn't tell us about the fish you catch, but I know he's catching it there, and and I know that same oak is fishing over there and telling someone a different story.
Yeah.
So
100%.
it's everywhere.
But again, just touching back on the guiding. When we started this, I told you about my first kudu I caught at Seabell.
Yeah.
Guiding for me is very rewarding in that aspect. It's like, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then I can't tell you how many people I've put into their first fish on a kayak. And or their biggest fish, or their biggest tuna, or their first sailey. And like, I remember, that for me is so rewarding.
Yeah.
Being able to experience that feeling again and again and again.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's not as much about me catching the fish. Don't get me wrong, I love competitive angling still. And I still fish, I think that's the other thing that sets a few of us apart, like Mark Delahaye is another example. On our day off, we don't have clients. What do? We still go fishing.
Yeah.
It's not a job, it's a passion. It's a lifestyle, it's what we do.
100%.
And I think that's, a very good friend of mine in the hunting industry, he said, if you turn your passion into your job, you'll never work another day in your life.
Yeah.
And I thought, geez, that's something that I would like to do.
I'm still trying to work that out.
And honestly, I took that advice. I remember that very clearly, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do.
Mm.
I'm going to turn my passion into my job, and I won't work another day in my life.
And you're not.
No, well, yeah, I am working, but
I think there's no one out here who would say like, "Gee, Marcus, this is a cuck job now, but fishing in Fiji on those boats, catching those fish."
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know. So yeah.
So yeah, that's where I am. Can't paddle at the moment, but
Yeah. Well,
I'll be back.
that's just a slight injury.
Slight injury. So I'm around
So
in
that's what
SA
happens
for a
when
bit.
you wear slops.
Yeah, slops and
Pluckies,
tropical
as
rain.
we call them, eh?
Yeah, I'm plucky.
You fall, you just slip in the rain.
Oh man,
But you'll be back.
I'll be back.
We'll be going on a trip one day,
100%.
catching more fish again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. That'll been good chatting.
Cool. Thank you,
There's
Brett.
nothing that I can think of right other than that we've talked about.
Perfect.
Like you say, there's freaking a lot of stories out there. That
Yeah.
going on and on and on.
You have
and
to
on
write
and
a
on.
book one day, I swear.
Write a book of
But
stories.
not like Scott's book. I think like a Rob Waite's must be the main subject matter.
Rob would be the main subject.
Yeah.
No, we'll get Rob in here. We're going to
Yeah.
get Rob and Adam in here. And we're going to ask him a few questions, like
Awesome.
the time Rob nearly drowned at the barge
Yes.
when his KP got stuck in his
Pants.
T-staff shorts. Yeah, there's a lot of stories out there.
Awesome.
Yeah, but it's been really good chatting.
Cool. Thank you for having me on the.
Stay safe over there in Fiji.
I will do.
We'll check you soon.
Cheers, guys.